And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Sunday, and we are here with our second Korean qualifier for the Kung Fu Cup here in Esports Heaven.
Yeah, man, and we're back in the studio once again. Been quite hectic these past days, but of course we've had a blast. Last night we had some absolutely amazing series. Some great TVTs actually.
Yeah, a lot of TTs, but quite long.
Quite long,
quite intense though.
Byung, Bunny.
Oh yeah,
those guys duking it out like crazy. Some absolutely, amazing games. Those guys really showed what they are. Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme.
Yeah. StarCraft 2.
Yeah, the best of the best. Yeah, it was really fun. Some really intense games, as we said, but well, we're gonna see, because our first series shouldn't be a TVT. It should be a PVT actually.
Yeah,
more PVTs. Where are all the Zergs?
We had like TVT, PVT.
Where are all the
Zergs?
Zergs?
PVZ, I think yesterday.
Yeah, one.
Was that like
Saxo versus Rain?
Yeah, the very first series we did, and then we didn't really get more. So you're a little sad.
I'm very sad about that.
By the way, you're like, how's my voice today?
Your voice?
Yeah, it's a little hoarse, isn't it?
It is quite hoarse, yeah. You really should, go to bed a bit earlier, I think.
It's hard to sleep when you're, this excited. I'm like a kid.
In a candy shop, yeah. Or for Christmas.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Like when you get open stuff.
I guess so. So right now, yeah, we messaged Supernova and Stork, so we're setting up for that series.
Yeah, guys.
Going to be
Stork.
completely insane.
You all know him, one of the Brood War legends. Made the switch over to StarCraft 2. I think it was actually one of the, latecomers. It was in by like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, he was one of the Kesper players who played a lot of StarCraft 1. Of course, you all know Stork from StarCraft 1.
Brood War, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
should we say StarCraft 1, because
Brood War is the expansion of StarCraft 1, so it's still StarCraft 1. But yeah, Brood War, whatever.
Like StarCraft 1 didn't really have the.
No, but okay, so my point was still...
I'm just...
okay, I'm trying to make a point, you're just interrupting me. What the hell? So, okay, my point was, at least you have Flash, you have Jaedong, and you had Stork. Everyone coming over. Stork was a bit later than Flash and Jaedong. Jaedong was the first one, I believe.
Has Bisu made the transition?
I don't think he plays in the same way, like we see Jaedong and so, but he most likely has played a bit. Probably better than both of us combined.
Yeah,
but
naturally, those Brood War mechanics, dude.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, so we're actually ready, and we're going to be jumping into our first series. Now, very briefly, of course, we are here in Cruxer Studios, like always.
It's
our home turf.
We're in the middle of Stockholm, so if you guys are from Sweden, hello and welcome. It is quite early still.
It is. What time is it?
It's noon.
Oh yeah, so 12 a.m. actually. But yeah, man, had some great series, and I'm so excited for today as well. So here we go, jumping into our very first series, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully my voice gets better.
Yeah, hopefully.
During the day, man, like you're
gonna need some tea, dude.
Yeah, you to support me here, I can do anything. But Supernova as well. He's the kind of guy who definitely can do whatever he likes. Famous for his mech. He is on Team Root Gaming, and already said his name, but I'll say it again. He is Supernova.
That was hard to time, okay. But
it was very hard to time.
You're going to get a second attempt on that one. For the other player.
Yeah, I like giving you a hard time. And his opponent, some say a legend never dies. And he's still here with us today in StarCraft 2, the blue Protoss spawning in the top left corner. He is Stork for Team Samsung Galaxy Khan.
Oh yes, so PVT coming out again. No Zergs in sight.
Soon, man.
Soon. Hashtag soon. We are going to have a Brood War legend. One of the one of the Bonjours, I believe. He counts, right? Bisu, Stork, Jaedong, Flash.
I'm trying to think here.
It was one of the Bonjours.
Boxer is actually one of them. I think there was only 5. And Boxer being one of them. So we have to count one of those guys out. Because otherwise we're up to 6, and with only 5 slots now.
I would count Stalk. He was amazing. He was absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, he was the one actually who did this really sick move. I remember. Have you seen like spider mines in the first game?
Of course I have.
Yeah, like so basically like in the campaign, they when a target comes close, they run up and charge the target and explode, right?
Yeah, they're like a better version of a Widow Mine.
Yeah, exactly. More interesting actually than the Widow Mine. And he did this thing like where he had zealots with leg speed in a shuttle, which was like a warp prism, you know, a dropship.
Oh yeah.
And he would drop over a minefield, and the zealot with leg speed was like charge, and he would run that into the Terran Marines and just blow them up with a friendly fire. And you know, like that is so sick. It's sort of as close as you get, you know, with Parting versus Flash Home Story Cup, when he runs the Stork to the Marines and gets a Widowmaker trigger, and right as the missile fires, he blinks away and kills the Marines.
Oh wow, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick, I have to say. But you know, Supernova, this guy you've been boosting for some time now.
I love this guy, dude.
This is one of your favorite Terrans, you say?
Yeah, definitely.
So
he was in my top 3.
He was in your top 3. Stalk was not though in your top 3 pros.
We
never got to that.
No, we didn't. We did Zerg and we did Terran.
I know your protos though. It's easy. It's going to be Parting. It's going to be C-Gents' hero, and it's going to be Zest.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow, dude. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Well, it's not that difficult. You do talk about them every single day.
Yeah, man, I love them. Like probably especially Zest.
I kind of want to squeeze in Rain as well, but it's not your top 3. It's kind of
like
probably top 4, top 5.
He used to be, but like, you know, when he left SKT1, he just didn't feel to be of the same quality.
Are you blaming my insanity on the foreign teams?
He went full foreigner. Nah, man. But like, I'm really interested. What are your favorite players of the other races?
About the races?
Yeah, because like you like Sue. Okay, Sue.
Okay, wait, okay, no.
Your Zugs.
Okay, 3 Zugs.
Yes.
This is going to be easy.
Yeah, Sue, Dark, True.
No. No.
No?
No.
Was any of them right?
Sue's right.
Dark.
Dark's not right. Dark's wrong.
Really?
Yeah, Dark's not on my list.
Is it like what's that guy?
You're completely off with the other 2.
That you carried through. Are they foreigners? Is it like Bly and...
No. Oh,
Nacho?
Bly? Wow. You know nothing about me.
Oh, well, a couple of pros dying. They don't know anything either.
Yeah, well, they are. I mean, Supernova is going to kill a few here. Well, let's see. He does get 5, which is a good number for 3 Hellions.
You know, like even trade, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's, you know, he's going to take an economic lead, so as long as Stork can't really deal damage with it, you know, you're not going to be able to use the Hellions in the late game in the same way, still just for run buys in that case, so it's still pretty nice.
You know, maybe a drop. To be fair, you know, a Supernova, like I've been saying this so many times, he is the guy, he just goes straight into mech, you know, and he does it in every matchup. But if we see mech in this PvT on Deadwing, no surprise really. We have the stopper going down, and he's got the bunker at the front with a mine as well. Stork, you know, with double Nexus though, will be able to get his probe count up and running very quickly, even though he took a little damage there from those aliens.
Yeah, I mean, Stork of course going to start crowning on those workers, making sure that he's going to have the economy he needs for later. But, you know, as you said before, mech might just be what we see from Supernova. Already seeing tanks coming out here. And,
you know, this is why I like him.
Yeah, but I still want to hear your guesses for my other 2. My other 2 are so straightforward. It's so easy.
Yeah, what Sue is the one, right?
Sue, of course.
Yeah, Life.
Yeah,
that's
one
because he's so good.
The third one you're never gonna guess.
Is it like some Korean B teamer?
He's not a B teamer. He's retired.
He's retired?
Yeah, there's only one.
Is he a Brood War player?
No. Well, he was, but he was absolutely horrific, I think.
Fruit dealer?
No. Even better. Who's the best Zerg ever to touch a keyboard?
I want to say Jaedong, but he's not retired.
No.
The best Zerg, is it like StarCraft 2 Zerg?
Yeah, he's a god. He's the god of StarCraft. It's Nesty!
Nesty! Oh my god, yeah, that's true, Nesty. Wow.
Oh my god, you couldn't guess Nesty from that?
No, I've forgotten about him a bit.
Wow, you forgot about Nesty.
You know, I haven't seen him for so long, man.
How should you repent for your sins?
I don't know, dude. I have to go to church. And
yeah, every Sunday now.
Every Sunday. It's Sunday now, so I'm going to go to church.
You're going to go to Casper Jail for saying that thing.
Casper Church, Casper Jail, Casper Prison Island. Supernova here, pulling out some cute moves with a siege tank by these rocks, but he's actually in range of these stalkers, so they're going to be able to take this tank down.
That's not too nice for Supernova.
Very bad, actually. You know, tank is expensive.
That's really bad for Supernova. Actually, his opener was with a tank and you know, trying to get as much damage as possible going towards Stork's natural base. Of course, you want to start killing off workers. You want to force Stork into a very awkward position where he's not mining etc. But just losing a tank like that was a lot of gas invested and, you know, a lot of time as well. His stim is late, his upgrades late, and by the way, it seems like we're going to see bio coming up for Supernova.
Yeah, interestingly enough, you know, of course, he is very talented, you know, doing everything really that Terran can do. And, you know, that includes bio play. But, you know, he generally always kept leaning towards mech. So it's going to be very interesting to see, like, how does he play versus Stork now. Stork kind of had a shaky upstart. He's definitely good. Like, but no, not really close to where he was playing back in Brood War.
I don't think anyone really who was like one of the best in Brood War can come close to that in StarCraft 2.
No, it's a bit sad.
I mean, they were so dominant at that different eras. They
yeah,
can't really
definitely.
compare them.
Like, you've sort of had them divided up.
Yeah.
You know, like the different timelines. But once again, we don't mind drop going down in the natural. One in the main. You did highlight that very nicely. That was taken out here by the cannon. But you know, so Supernova has managed to get some damage done here with his harassment.
And, well, right now we do see that with Supernova moving into Bio, he's going to get that second starport quite early on here, I have to say, for going to 3 bases. Usually you do see that, you know, armor coming down together with the second engineering bay, but very early second starport. So we might just see a massive amount of Vikings coming out here to try to go for a bigger kind of push, trying to kill off a lot of Colossus very quickly. And he's facing against Colossus Blink, so it's not going to be, you know, the earliest of storms that we do see coming out from Stork.
No, and with this, of course, this does leave Stork, you know, susceptible to a big SCV pull. Now, if Supernova can identify, you know, what's going on, like, you're not going to have Storm for a while, just because of how gas intensive that composition is, with those Stalkers, 50 gas each, and especially with the second starport.
Oh, it's this variant.
Oh man, he's gonna...
We've seen this before.
He's gonna drop in some ghosts. Make sure this is sort of like a safety precaution, you know, like in case of storm.
Yeah, well, we've seen this push before, like, because usually, as you say, you know, you should have the second engineer bay, you should have the armory on the way, and
but he's cutting that.
He's cutting that
in favor of the Ghost Academy.
So what you do is, like, you push with your kind of standard, you know, like the heavy Viking push. But I'm going to come back to that because we have a drop in the main base. Stork doing some nice damage already to the economy, and you can easily just pick off and come back later. Got to make sure he doesn't lose his war prism to those Vikings. Even going to, you know, kill off this supply depot, no cancel whatsoever.
You know, nice little move here. Get some damage done, deny some mining time. Not too much done really, but still, you know, buy some time. So it's just a nice little move here. It's going to help Stork secure his third base.
He got about 1 worker per seller, so that's about an equal trade, I would say.
Yeah, you know.
Because, you know, it's just 50 minerals, but then, of course, they work wouldn't mind, and it kind of resets the count. The thing is now, the question is, if Stork realizes how many Vikings are actually on the field already, because, you know, he's kind of pushing out here, he's kind of trying to assert his, you know, dominance on the map, but I wouldn't be too surprised, as we talked about before, you know, seeing that SCV pool, we don't see the armor even being started yet, so, you know, a big SCV pool with those ghosts going for the snipes or EMPs, and, well, we don't even see any Templars out yet.
No charges on the way, and 2-2. This is going to be very powerful, though, versus SCV pulls. Well upgraded Zealots, man. They definitely annihilate SCV pulled kind of styles, unless the Terran can make sure to not get too much damage taken from those Colossi and stuff like that. So, now at this point, really, Stork wants to just chrono like crazy into those 2-2 and the charge upgrade. And there we go. See the SCV pull coming out here from Supernova. Coming across the map, but there is an observer, and he saw all of this. Now he has to prepare himself mentally, right? Because this is going to be very tense. Oh, even using hallucination and getting some Archons, and 1 more Colossus. This is very cute. He does have Photon Overcharge and Time Warp available as well.
Yeah, well, right now Supernova is moving in right towards Stork. Stork is trying to deal with this as quickly as possible, but of course the Vikings are just in such a high number. As you talked about, though, the chances of doing a fair amount of damage, and Supernova with only 1-1 against 2-2 having a very hard time dealing with all the time slots. Yeah, man, those upgrades just so powerful. We saw all of those SCVs just get absolutely shredded, and now the Viking count is gone. Only a handful of bio remains, and Supernova, man, he's down to 23 SCVs after this pull. A few units being rallied across, but Stork can just continuously warp in, and that's going to be GG. With Stork taking the first quick victory here in our opening series of the Korean Qualifier, number 2 of the Kung Fu Cup. Yeah, well, the thing is, you know, Supernova goes for this really big push. It's a delayed kind of SV pull, where you try to get your ghosts out, as we talked about, to counteract any early high Templars.
Yeah, it's to work around that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a blind move.
The problem with it is that you can die to someone who does what we see Stork do. He went right into double Forge, and he got his 2-2 before the push happened, so it was 2-2 against 1-1 with charge slots, and there's really nothing to deal with the charge slots. I mean, to deal with those, you truly just have to have more medevacs and more bio and be able to kite.
Like, you generally think, you know, the Ghosts are going to be great versus the Zealots, but just with that 2-2, they get so tanky, do so much damage, because, I mean, you know, they close the gap very quickly. It sort of looked a little bit, you know, like Pig Baby style, with the quick forges and the delayed third base and stuff like that. So, you know, I like it. Stork taking a page out of his other Protoss brethren's book, getting it working absolutely brilliantly. But we're going to jump into our second game between these two players. And we have him spawning in the southern location here on Varney Research Station, the Red Terran, playing for Team Root Gaming. He is Supernova. And his opponent currently up by 1 game, playing a beautiful PVT there on Deadwing. Upgrades working wonders for him. We'll see what he pulls out of his book. This one, he is Samsung Galaxy Khan's Stalk.
Okay, so to just recap that very quickly, Supernova tried for the kind of cute play, as we do see him doing for some cute play again.
With the tank, you mean? Like?
Yeah, exactly. He tried with the Q plane with the tank, and it's an investment. He tried to, or rather, he hoped to do a lot of damage with it. Didn't do too much with it.
Didn't pay enough. Like, what do you get? Half a pile?
Yeah, just about, and it got killed as well. So not great whatsoever for Supernova, who then transitioned into 3 base all in, pulling a lot of workers. Of course, it's one of those all-ins that if he does a lot of damage, he can still rally and kill his opponent later.
Oh yeah, like I think if you get the third. And get the Colossus countdown counter without losing too much bio, then you'll be ahead. But you know, like I said there, that 2-2 man, it's so good. But now Supernova, he's going for the 2 racks. This is nice. This is probably, you know, one of the first super hard dedicated cheeses we've had in the Korean qualifiers.
Yeah, it is actually. I think, you know, with a Korean qualifier, you know, hearing all these stories and watching a lot of games from, you know, like Code B and qualifiers to that, you'd think there would be a lot more cheesing. People talk about that all the time.
Like the up and downs, you know, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that like best of 1, absolutely insane?
Well, not the up and downs, but the qualifiers for the...
up and downs, right.
Well, up and downs is if you're going to move up or down in like between
Code A
and
and
Code B.
Yeah. Exactly.
The qualifiers are like, you know, qualifying to Code B, which is really tedious.
And from there you have to work your way up via the ups and downs and stuff. So it's really insane. But, you know, here we go. A few boys being pulled off, and, you know, now... Stork has to realise what's going on. He's already current out of the first Zealot. He's got the gas mining, and 1 more Zealot on the way. Has the Cyber Core completing now. Has to get that Mothership Core ASAP and start getting that energy up.
And well, right now, Stork has to micro his heart out. Same goes for Supernova, though. Here comes all the probes, going to try to deal with this as well as possible. If he gets a good surround, he could absolutely shut this down very quickly. Does get the kill on the SV, so he might bring this this bunker down.
Gets both of them, actually.
Oh yeah, but we have more coming in, though, from the back. So, let's see if they can start building that bunker. Nice little surrounding from both sides, focusing down that Zealot. The first Zealot is down. But that Mothership Core is slow but surely recharging the energy towards the Photonova charge.
And once he gets that, that's pretty much going to be over here for Supernova. So, you know, he's on a timer, but he's got on both the Zealots. And right now, this Mothership Core is very exposed. That's going to go down. One Stalker cannot buy enough time to keep that alive. And, you know, he needs to kite versus these Marines with a single Stalker as well. More probes being pulled off. He's actually lost a considerable amount of workers here.
Yeah, but the issue right now, the bunker is not going up, and this Stalker could technically kite these Marines forever. Of course, it's very difficult with the micro from both players, and Supernova is doing a very good job back and forward with his kiting. Stork, though, is going to have a second Stalker out in a short moment. As long as this bunker doesn't go up, well, he can start killing off a lot of these Marines. Yeah,
and there we go. More SCVs have been pulled off the lines at home, and Stork forced to pull these probes. Once again, if this bunker goes up, that's going to be game. More Marines come in to reinforce, and now the probes coming under a lot of fire. Trying to focus down on that Stalk. He's actually going to get that, but you know, without any Marines, you cannot fill your bunker with anything. And Supernova, man, he's in a very tough spot right now.
He needs to get that SV, though.
Oh, he's not going to finish
in time. One shot away.
The bunker doesn't get up.
Yeah, it's on the same second. That has been like a tenth of a second. But, you know, hashtag calculated from Stork. And we're going to see more SCVs being pulled here from Supernova, who is about to get the Stalker. Very, very low, but he needs to shoot down this bunker ASAP or kill these Marines, because when the bunker goes up, that gets very, very difficult to deal with later, because of the fact that he's lost his Mothership Core and not rebuilt that yet.
Yeah, there we go. The bunker does finish, and now 4 Marines going to make their way in there. And well, you know, with Supernova slowly sort of trying to get up more SCVs, he's up to 5 now. Managed to get yet another Stalker here, and the 5th Marine joins in.
Yeah,
all these probes are going to die, and that's going to be GG from Stork, tying the series up.
Oh yeah, very, very quick game here coming up for Stork, but a very smart strategy to pull off. And Supernova didn't even scout for it. He only scouted for the opponent's base, which meant that his response was a bit late, so he became a micro war rather than just a hard counter.
I like it, you know, these kind of games, very fun, very intense. And of course, you know, when you lose to this kind of move in a best-of-3 series, especially if you win that first game, it's really going to sort of throw you off your groove most of the time. Because StarCraft 2 is not only a game about mechanics and strategical understanding, it's also, you know, like a psychological kind of war that you're fighting.
Oh, absolutely, and especially if you're up one game, you're starting to plan what you're going to do, and suddenly you realize, oh, I just lost that. And also when you realize
that... 2-axe to your face.
Yeah, exactly, and when you realize you could have also won that game, so you just threw out a game kind of in your head at least, and you're now going to have to play the ace game between, you know, or rather against someone like Supernova, which is never something you want to be having to do, of course.
No, it's, you know, like very stressful situation I can imagine. In this third game that we're going to be hopping into right now on Overgrowth.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
That keeps happening.
Those hotkeys, buddy.
Yeah, those hotkeys.
But you know what? Your hotkey setup is pretty insane anyway, so, you know, I can live with that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry. Now, anyway, let me introduce our first player. He is the Red Terror and playing for Team Root Gaming. He is Supernova, pulling out the crazy 2-axe Alvini research station, man. He did not want to play a longer game there.
No, I mean, I can understand him for that.
And, you know, he has an opponent, of course, looking very good in game number 1. Sort of miscontrolling there when he got hit by that 2-axe. We'll have to see. Can he do a better job on this one? He is Samsung Galaxy Khan's Stalk. Almost said Supernova.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be Sue, it's going to be Stork.
Sue?
Yeah.
Sue?
What? Sue, yeah. What's about Sue?
Man, Sue, so good.
You're weird, dude. Oh well. So we're gonna have a Supernova coming in here on Overgrowth.
Supernova, like he pulls off his mask and he's actually Sue just off racing.
Are you okay, dude? Have you been smoking something weird?
Man.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I had very little sleep tonight.
So it begins.
So it begins. You know, like I think we sort of start most of our casts, you know, pretty okay. And then, you know, as time goes on, it gradually gets a bit worse.
I think we're starting the wrong end today.
We are, right? And
yeah,
so we're gradually going to get better instead.
Hopefully. Otherwise this is going to be awkward. But okay, so let's get serious for a second. And we're going to see Stalk open up, Gateway Expo, nothing weird. He's not going to try something completely crazy. Supernova not trying something crazy either. He's not going to go for commandant on the low ground or high ground right away. He's not going to try.
I think he actually is. He's going to go for a...
No, but we got Rax first at least, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. But this is just, you know, good old-fashioned 1-Rex Expo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite safe still.
Yeah, definitely.
Back to the roots.
Back to the roots.
Playing for roots.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Good point. You're so funny sometimes.
Well, thank you very much.
But we do have an engineering bay. It's not going to finish up here. So that's going to be very annoying because, you know, Stork wanted to go in for that Nexus and instead he's going to drop down the pylon. This might force the Zealot. And we see this. Oh no! What? This is so annoying here because, you know, like if you get blocked like this, you just want to go around that second gas.
Look at Supernova. He's even
sort of you know, work around it. That you can't get the quicker expo and instead go for some sort of tech.
Look how he's microing this. Like you can press T to get out of the gas and then
like the building thing.
Exactly. So he's not constructing. So he actually does. Oh, he gets away from the pro as well.
Ooh, that's not very nice.
So he actually micros around by even more time than he would have otherwise, and saves the SV. Also, of course, this engineering base goes to be cancelled last second. Painful to watch.
Oh, man, what if he doesn't cancel him? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, of course it is. It's Supernova.
You never know. You know, I've seen some high-level profile players sometimes miss out on that. You know, there's just too much going on.
Nah, Supernova is too good, dude.
Yeah, he's
too good.
He's too good. Of course, that's because he's my favorite Terran.
No bias here.
No bias here. But, you know, he's dropping down his additional racks, grabbing the gas, gonna start working on that stim upgrade. Gonna see an engineering bay being added in a while. And now we see Twilight Council going down very quickly for Stork. Actually, it would be, you know, at a standardized timing if this Nexus was finished. But now he's going to be at a slightly lower economy. So if he wants to make any sort of additional tech with this, like, say, Robo, it's going to be a bit slower. Robo Bay will be slower as well. So, you know, it's sort of a way to weigh out for the loss of that additional economy. Maybe we'll see Stork try to go for some blink pressure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised, especially on this map. It's not as easy as on, let's say, Deadwing, for instance, where you can come right into the main.
Oh, that's true.
Because you can still do that here, but of course, the main is built in such a manner that it's ready to get up into your main from your natural and defend it. But still, it's a decent map. It's not impossible. It's not Expression Lost, for instance, which is almost completely impossible to
I'm trying to think.
get up.
Oh, yeah, there are literally no angles.
No,
on that map. Like, if you want to get up there, you just have to push the ramp.
Exactly. So
can't really do that.
This is still better.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you know, like you say, the base is it's a bit weird. Now we have additional gateways added in for Stork, Supernova. Oh, I thought that was an SCV for a second. Like, like going for a super quick third command center.
Yeah, he's going to go for 70 workers before the 10 minutes mark.
Yeah, he just like plays like a Zerg, but he's Terran.
Exactly.
But you know, now we have Blink halfway done. A few additional gates have just finished, and there we have the Robo being dropped down at 7 minutes. A bit later than you'd want to. You want to get at like 6:30, 6:40. But still going to be in pretty good shape. Supernova not going for any sort of mine drops or Banshee play, so not really in a rush for that Observer.
And I mean, as I said, Stim is on its way, but Supernova is going to have about 16, 17 Marines when this hits, and it's a decent number. We're not going to see, you know, the most aggressive of the pushes. It's going to be a few warpins coming in at least, though, from Stalk, and he's going to try to poke here, see what he can find. And of course, if there is no bunker, he would just roll over his opponent. But now, of course, there is a bunker. He's bringing his mother's core. This is a very aggressive pylon, which is scouted by Supernova. So now he knows it's time to be, you know, pulling maybe a few SCVs, start repairing, which he should be doing right now. And there we go.
Yeah, nice there with that Marine at the front as sort of a forward scout. I like it. You know, behind this, Stork will be able to work on what I'd call a soft contain, just because this puts Supernova in a spot where he doesn't know if Stork is continuously warping in units or not. But he's going to push again. Zella is tanking a lot of damage, and Stork doing a good job here on focusing down these SCVs. Man, my mouth is really dry. But, you know, nice little moves here, really, from Stork.
I have to say, he's doing the most he can of this. We see the Marine does kill one worker. Almost two would have been absolutely fantastic for him, but still goes in, sees, okay, you have a natural, what I see in the natural, etc. Now we have two bugs in the front. They're going to be focused down, though, by Stork.
Gets one.
Yeah, nice blink micro as well. Not going to take all too much damage on his Stalker. Oh, it does lose one.
Yeah, you know, those Marauders in the bunker, they have crazy range. You get +1 in a bunker, so you can hit those Stalkers from quite far away. Now there we have the Robo Bay added in here. Stork pushing in once again. Stimmer has finished now, though, for Supernova. So Stork is going to he's going to have to be very careful, because, you know, if you caught off guard, the Terran can just stim forward and overrun you.
Yeah, and now as well, of course, with the Medivac, you're not going to take any permanent damage with the Stim.
Oh, that's true.
As before the Medivac comes out. So there are often two key points when you deal with the Blink is often, you know, when your Medivac starts coming out and when your Stim finishes up. So now we see Supernova moving out with a lot of Marauders, very difficult to deal with when you have Stalkers, because they're armored. Marauders do so much damage against armored units.
Oh yeah, they have like 10 and they do 100% more, so 20 versus armored. Pretty crazy. Stork at home getting an Immortal. Has got charge and also had time here to squeeze out a War Prison with a bunch of Zealots in it. I like this. Is going to keep Supernova back for now for a little bit. Even though he's moving in with this drop. Does the Stork react in time?
And we're going to see he does get the Widow Mines right away. The Widow Mine will only connect to one worker. Going to go into the main though. Let's see how much he can make happen here. Right now Stork's not pulling any worker. There we go. And he's going to make sure that's only one worker being hit. But there are 4 Marines here. He's going to pull Stalk into his main base. He could push down, but at the same time, though, we see a nice drop with the War Prism from Stork, going to deal quite some damage.
He manages to, you know, stand right by these production facilities, pick up a couple of units. Now, look at this. Supernova is just pulling back all of his army to deal with this. And once again, Stork doing a great job buying time here for those Colossi to come out and all of his upgrades that he wants, like Charge, for example. So, Stork, man, he's playing this very well. No third base will be going down for Stork for a while, because his army is actually very fragile.
And that's kind of what we see now when people go into Colossus. They need some time to get their Colossi out to really make sure they can deal with the Terran army. At this point, we see someone like Supernova, for instance. Right now he has a lot of Marauders. This is double Marauder production.
Very Marauder heavy.
So if we saw, for instance, Charge slots very early on with a lot of upgrades like Pay Baby can do, it is going to be difficult to deal with that. But with Blink against Blink, Stalker and Colossus, it's a very smart choice, I have to say, and it's an army really difficult to deal with.
Oh yeah, because, they're both armoured units. Well, he's going to get a pick of 2 Marauders there, not losing a Stalker. So, nice little move there from Stork, blinks away. And he's actually gone ahead and oversaturated his bases a little bit, which I think is a great move, because he knows he's not going to be looking to grab a third base for quite some time. So, with those additional probes, we'll sort of not have to play as much catch-up in terms of economy.
A bit of an unfortunate supply lock here from Supernova for some time.
Oh yeah,
but,
wow.
He's going to go for triple supply depot.
But it's a lot of time lost.
True, but something as well. We do see a Ghost Academy coming down. And, well, do we actually see a double starport again?
Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, we do. So
yeah,
this is just the same push we saw in the first game. Didn't work out too well though, but this time he's going to face Templars instead of Charge. And no early upgrades as well for Stork.
Oh yeah, that's true. Not the lack of this 2-2 is really going to change the outcome of how this fight is going to go. You'll definitely see, like, the Zealots are not going to do even half as much damage there versus those SCVs. But he does actually manage to interrupt this third base, and Stork on the other side of the map here, right outside Supernova's front door. This is now going to be a very interesting dynamic, because generally it's the Terran that wants to be pushing out, with the SCVs and stuff like that, hitting the Protoss in the face, but now the tables have been turned.
They truly have, but remember, as I said, we don't have Charge. Actually, no, wait, we do have Charge. Never mind, I missed that completely.
Yeah, just not the
the upgrades, exactly. The upgrades are so important that he goes into this kind of choke, and, well, this is exactly where Supernova wants to find, but those SCVs are being fried way too quickly. They're all stacking up on each other. Not that many Vikings. He hasn't had the time to really stack them up, so the Colossus are doing way more than they should be doing at this point. Trying to focus down, focusing on the wrong Colossus for quite some time here, but...
Oh, the Zealot's getting blocked here, man.
Yeah, the Stork is still taking a lot of damage to his army, and he's going to be cleaned up. Although the workers of Supernova are kind of down at this point.
Yeah, man, but one more Colossus does come in and reinforce. The Vikings are doing great damage, but Supernova stimming forward and more Zealots Warplanes coming in. They do have that charge, of course. They managed to close the gap very, very quickly, but Supernova holding on for now, and man, he makes a hold, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's the question. Right now, we see a lot more workers coming out from Stork. He's going to have a great economy. The problem is right now, though, that if Supernova realizes there's virtually no army for Stork, no gateway units whatsoever, it is going to be very, very difficult for Stork to hold on here, and his Warplanes are going to be sniped as well.
What a shame.
Yeah, I mean, with that pickoff, you really should not see Stork being able to counterattack as well. I think he has one pylon, up here to the right-hand side.
Very far away, and Supernova even goes to find the one in the south location here, so...
oh dear.
Supernova doing a good job here, and he scans forward and sees no army for Stork. What are 3 Archers and a Colossus going to do? He's trying to take this third base. Supernova can easily go in and shut that down with the mobility.
And here's that gap we talked about.
Yeah, the great position here where you can't really attack the Vikings. He needs to be careful, but he's going to take down this Colossus. Nice move there from Supernova.
Yeah, very, very nice. Of course, without the Colossus, it's going to be incredibly difficult to hold this position. And right now, Supernova kiting against these charge slots. He has 1-1 against 0-0.
Yeah, look at that number of Marauders, man, with a concussive shell.
Yeah, they're just kiting away. Remember, though, without the Marines, I mean, the DPS against Zealots isn't completely amazing, but they're going to focus down the units very, very nicely. And, of course, every unit will be slowed quite significantly here because of the concussive shell. At the same time, we still have these Vikings roaming around looking for more Colossi to snipe.
Yeah, I'm not going to find any. Oh, nice. Does get 2 of those. And the Archons have been retained here for Stork. So that's very nice. And they're very important here. They are virtually the only splash damage he has right now, excluding like 1 Colossus. And still, that's a very easy target here for Supernova, who's been working very hard to replenish his work account. He's up to 47 SCVs once again.
Yeah, he's kind of coming back into it, although Stork at the same time has been replenishing his army instead, so they're all both kind of trying to equalize with each other. We see this one Zealot coming in, trying to harass a bit. I like this from Stork. He likes to be very active when he plays against the Terran, because otherwise, if you let the Terran just do whatever, then you don't know how many bases he's on. You can't just keep sending observers out all the time. It's easy to just warp in a Zealot, get a few kills, and also scout at the same time. And, of course, sometimes even force, like before, Supernova back.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things here in this matchup, actually. So I'm happy you touched upon that, my friend. Because the Terran army, you know, once it forces a direct engagement, the Terran is generally in the position, you know, like, he knows when he wants to fight. And it all comes down to, even for Zerg, you know, we have to kind of defend, you know, make sure to not take too much damage, and the Terran will keep pushing forward. But when you do these kind of moves, it forces the Terran to return back home, which means that, you know, the longer the thing's going on, it'll be like, nah, man, gets a bit more uncomfortable. So, very nice moves here.
You know,
Stork, nice snipe.
Yeah, he does kill those both wood mines as well, and Stork right now has been whooping quite a few of these charge lots. Still though, no upgrades, but Supernova hasn't been too active with those either. He just finished up his armory, so his 2-2 is quite late, and 1-1 against 0-0. I mean, it's a nice lead, but if Stork takes a fantastic position, that's not going to matter too much.
It's not like the biggest deal, you know, if you're down by only one upgrade.
But EMPs, though, is a big deal at this
point.
point.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Yeah, the big EMP is going down, coming a lot of those Zealots. The Archon's actually not soaking them here, which is really good. So they return the shields. The Colossi still managed to get some pretty good damage down. The Immortal offers a lot of additional fire support out the back, but it's not going to be enough. All the Archons have fallen, and now only Blinkstalkers remain. And of course, they are very frail units who cannot deal with bio, especially with that 1-1 up front. So now Stork is on the retreat. He needs to fall back to that third base, and he cannot lose it. So he cannot lose that base.
No, he can't lift it and just walk away. He needs to keep this base. As you say, this is an entire economy with just about. He's mined dry in his main base. He's going to be on 1.5 base economy if he... you know, even with this base, without it, he has virtually nothing. And we see Supernova lifting up, going to plant his third again, and well, he's just going to push across here. We see a big army for Supernova, but Stork has a defender's advantage. He has a Colossus on the way, but Supernova with the upgrade advantage.
Yeah, will it be enough if for Stork? He needs to play it very, very patiently. He cannot move out and overextend it. If he loses an Archon or two for free, that's going to be absolutely devastating here for the Protoss. But he's getting some really good splash damage here. Stork is blinking to the left, Zealot starting to connect a little bit, and suddenly Supernova is the one who overextended here, and now he's forced to pull back.
I'm not feeling he's pulled back with this big of an army, but I think, okay...
Look at how low in health, though. Like, the entire army is only on 3 medevacs.
Too many medevacs, that's very, very true. He does have these 2 mines to cover up, to cover his army, but of course they're not doing too much, as Stork now knows he should not be overextending. We see Supernova. I mean, at this point, maybe just grabbing a 4th would be more effective, but of course he is having such a hard time dealing with Stork's constant pushing. Stork is giving up upgrades altogether, so maybe Supernova should just go for the 2-2. He's getting +2 attack at least, and just try to hold on until 2-2 is finished against 0-0.
Now, you know, we might actually see Supernova even going into the 3-1 style, where the Terran just rushes out those aggressive upgrades. +3 weapons, tears through Zealots without armor, and especially when they don't even have that first upgrade. So we'll see a Supernova. What is he going to be doing? He's got a lot of mines in support, and they are great versus charge Zealots because they keep clumping up, and just, you know, especially with that Widow Mine buff, they do very, very well. And looking at this, dry main, natural, almost mined out. Stork is going to be on 1 base economy, man.
He is, but Supernova is not mining too much himself. These mines are so important right now. If they could connect like 2-3 mine shots to a massive amount of charge, not that'd be a big deal, but there's 1 probe. Oh, ooh, that was close.
Not going to get that Widow Mine shot off.
No, but it would have been very nice.
Cute move there, really. Cute attempt. But Stork is going to push on forward. And once again, nice EMP hit from Supernova. Manages to land a lot of those Zealots, and kiting is pretty good. But those Archons, man, they offer so much damage. And with a single Colossus at the back, it's not going down quickly enough. Stork, is he going to manage to do this? Is he going to be able to push through and crush Supernova here at the 3rd base? SCVs are being pulled as well. Will this be enough?
Maybe so. Right now we do see Supernova trying to hold this with an SCV pull. Behind this, we do see 2 Widowmites going down, looking for those shots, and blink away from Stork last second. Even saving that Archon, and Supernova might just lose his 3rd base. More units coming down for Stork, and Supernova scrambling to keep himself in this.
Yeah, man, I think this command center is actually dead as long as it's focused fire, but you cannot actually You don't have time for that, Stork. Loses the Colossus here, and a bit of buy does trickle in. But still, you know, both of these guys virtually on non-existent economies. So, Supernova, he's relying on this second upgrade to really do it for him.
Yeah, the problem is, though, that he lost way too much stat. He has very, very few workers at this point. As Stork now, with a great army,
doubling in the supply.
Yeah, he could just go for the 4th base if he wants to even, and just get more and more units. He's actually distance mining right now with the gold base. We see his observers scouting everywhere on the map. For Supernova's 4th for his army, and Stork realizing that that is not too much. GG for Supernova, and Stork takes this game and the series.
Yeah, man. Great series to open things up. Once again, is it a sign? Because, you know, we've had Protoss in the first series today, Protoss in the first series yesterday. Are we going to end things on a TVT or a TV?
No. We need a ZVC to balance everything up, dude.
I think we might.
Yeah, no, but we're going to see how well the Zag players do. I mean, we always
We've
do
got
end
some
up...
great talent here, you know.
We really do. Rogue is coming out, Dongrigu,
Oh,
some of them
DRG.
Solar, really good Zerg players. All of them have been in, like, you know, the top tier of GSL. Solar did take DreamHack Stockholm, for instance.
That's true.
Beat Sue.
Versus Sue.
Didn't drop a game, I think.
I
think he aced him, I believe.
It was like very
that was the best.
Very one-sided series.
I think it was a 3-0. I think.
Yeah, like 3-0, 3-1. Very, very one-sided series.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'd be surprised. But anyway, guys, so that was our first opening series here from Crystal Studios, live in Stockholm, Sweden, with the Kung Fu Cup. It is, of course, one of the Korean qualifiers, the second and final one. So, are we going to find another series?
Yeah, we're going to try to get ourselves another series as soon as humanly possible, everyone. But of course, we're going to have a quick break before then, so you don't have to, you know, sit and look at us just talking and looking for a series all day. But of course, if you like what you see, do follow us here on Twitch. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Twitter handles below. And of course, shouts to you know, all the other casters who've been helping us out. You know, Base Trade, Mal, we have Revolver,
Russian caster.
Yeah, absolutely, and also Player, who was in the European qualifiers. And then we also had Collared Fist, who cast
the Chinese.
Shios. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
We'll have to ask. We'll have to ask Dig.
Yeah, but shouts to everyone there, and of course to you viewers watching right now. We'll be right back after a short little break, so we'll be right back.